Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. We are on scenario 5.1, the beginning of level 5, with the character Damiel. We're over at the Pleasure Barge, where at this location, when you fail to acquire an ally, you are dealt 1d4 poison damage. And since we're on level 5, what that means is that if Damiel does take poison damage, he's actually going to suffer the Curse of the Ravenous. Alright, and also I forgot to mention last scenario that Damiel, the mad scientist, gained a power feat. So now when you defeat a barrier that has a lock or trap trait, you may put it in your hand, you may banish a barrier to add your craft skill to your check to defeat a monster. So there's the mad scientist for you. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Bless of Pharasma. The first card we get is the Tarworks Master. Craft, Charisma, Diplomacy 10. Well, Damiel really lucked out here because he has a really good craft skill. His craft skill is D10 plus 5. But nonetheless, we are going to use a Blessing of Abadar on our check here to roll 2d10, and we are adding 5 to this roll. Alright, so 10, 11, 12. That was a 10. 10, 11, 12, boom, Tarworks Master. Discard this card to add 1 die to your craft check, or your check to acquire a boon. If your check invokes the fire trait, recharge this card. Interesting. Discard this card to explore your location. Well, looking at the boons here, there's only a spell. Actually, you know what? Wow, order your check to acquire a boon. This guy is actually going to help us get through the Pleasure Barge. Wow, from a narrative standpoint, it's really cool. We meet this Tarworks Master Dwarf. He's going to help us out. Wow, how cool. Advancing the Blessings deck is the Blessing of the Lady of Graves. Exploring, we get the Caustic Fog spell, Wisdom Divine 11. Well, unfortunately, Damiel has just a Wisdom skill of D6, and he's not going to waste a blessing trying to acquire this because it's only a level 3. So it's an auto fail. So now, advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Blessing of Osiris, and exploring we get the Tomb Raider. Well, this is cool because it's a Charisma, Diplomacy, Acrobatics 4. Shucks, if it was Dexterity 4, that would be better. Let's see, what do we got here? So we can do Charisma, Diplomacy, Acrobatics. So we don't have any of those traits. So we could do Charisma, Diplomacy. So all of those stats for Damiel are D4, and we need a 4. That really sucks. We don't want to use. We're gonna go ahead. This might sound crazy, but we're gonna go ahead. We can either use the Blessed of Isis, it's a human rogue basis, or we can use the Tarworks Master. Let's go ahead. Darn. I kind of hate to do either one. Let's use the Blessed of Isis. We're going to roll 2d4. Let's see. 2d4. I guess that's what we want to do. Let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and roll 2d4. Let's see if we fail. We're going to have to take D4 poison damage, and we don't want to do that. So unfortunately, we are also going to use the Tarworks Master. We're going to discard it to add 1 die to our craft check, or our check to acquire a boon. Okay, well, Tarworks Master says, look, there's a shady Tomb Raider here. So we're going to roll 3d4, and I'm glad we did do that because we did roll a 4, but 5, 6, 7. So yeah. So we got the Tomb Raider. He's in our hand. We are going to go ahead and discard the Tomb Raider when we reset our hand because we need some better allies. Okay, that's a little better looking at the hand. Let's go ahead and continue advancing the Blessings deck. It's the Blessing of the Elements. And exploring, we get the Blessing of Anubis. So Divine 8 or Charisma Diplomacy 11. Well, we really want this card. It's a level 4. And check this out. Divine Anubis Mummy Poison. What? Check this out. You may recharge or reveal a card to add 1d6 to your check that invokes the acid or poison trait. Isn't that cool? If your card has the alchemical trait, you may add another 1d6. Wow, that is so cool. So we're going to go ahead and reveal our Fire Lance. And to this check, we get to add 2d6. And we'll go ahead and we'll make it a divine check, which means that Damiel has a d4. Wow, having that poison keyword really helped out. But we're not out of the woods yet. We got to roll an 8. Let's do it. Alright, so we rolled a 5, 6, and a 4. Check that out. 10. We got a Blessing of Anubis. So we have a level 4 boon which we can use to trade now to a trader or a merchant. That is awesome. It says discard this card to add 2 dice to any charisma check. Well, that's going to totally help us out when we deal with some of these chumps coming up. Alright, Daniel's hand is fine. Man, he's meeting a lot of cool cards in the pleasure barge that's helping him defeat this whole scenario. So I really like I love it when that happens out. Advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Blessing of the Ancients, and exploring. What? Pyromaniac Mage. And he's a level 5 ally. Wow. So far, Intelligence, Arcane, Charisma, Diplomacy. Well, look at that. Damiel might not even have to use the Blessing of Anubis for this. He could add 2 dice to his Charisma check, but instead, we're going to do the Intelligence check. It's going to be a D10. Shucks. It's a human wizard. No other keywords. Shucks, shucks, shucks. So unfortunately, if we do the D10, we have to roll a 10 because we have an intelligence of +3. We don't have any blessings in our hand. We could do the diplomacy check, but that means that we were just going to go ahead and add 2 dice. So we're just going to roll 3d4. So we're automatically going to fail. Wow. Oh, shucks. Looks like we've met our match here, and he is a pyromaniac wizard. Alright, so we're going to have to go ahead and roll Arcane, Charisma, Diplomacy. Alright, just a D10. That's all we got. D10, we got to roll 10. And look at that. We rolled a 10. Man, hard to believe. Too bad it rolled off camera, but that's what happened. Boom. We got a Pyromaniac Mage now. Wow. We are finding all these great allies in the pleasure barge. Alright, advancing the blessings deck. It's a Blessing of Abadar. Jet of Anubis, item 4. Wow. So, Charisma, Diplomacy, Stealth. It's Object, Magic, Anubis. On your Charisma check, or your check that invokes a poison trait, recharge card to add 1. It says here, you may reveal a blessing that has an Anubis trait to reveal this card instead. Oh. Well, that's cool. I mean, we have the Blessing of Anubis. Now we can combo it up if we so desire. That's pretty cool. But as it is, it's a Charisma, Diplomacy, Stealth check 11. It's an item. I really want that item for Damiel. It's Object, Magic, Anubis. Those are the traits. So really, they don't invoke any of Damiel's powers. So, unfortunately, this is going to be an auto fail, which really sucks because I'd really like to get that item for Damiel. But there's no way we can acquire it. All of these stats are D4. We don't have any blessings or anything. The Jet of Anubis is gone. It's kind of sad, but that is the reality. Advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Blessing of Ra. And there he is, the villain of this scenario. The Dusk Taker. Is it Trigger? Abomination? We did not examine this card. Before you act, succeed at an Intelligence or Perception 10 check, or is immune to the melee trait. And the difficulty to increase is increased by 4. Wow. Okay, so basically, he doesn't have any immunities. We're going to go ahead. Okay. We're going to use the Blessing of Anubis. And we're going to do an intelligence check. So we get to roll 2d10. And we get to add a total of +3 to our roll. So we rolled a 9, 10, 11. So we made the intelligence check. So it's just a combat 23. So now what we're going to do, since he doesn't have any immunities, we're going to use our Noxious Bomb. And right away we're going to use, you may additionally discard a card to add our craft skill. We're going to do that. We're going to do that craft a 9 check really quick, which is D10 plus 5. Alright, and we rolled an 8 there. So we can recharge a card. Instead of discarding a card, we'll recharge a card. So we don't have to discard a card for using our craft skill. So now we're using our dexterity, our range trait plus 2d6, plus we get to use our craft skill. So that's what the noxious bomb is allowing us to do. We're going to use Damiel's mad scientist power. We can recharge this card that has the alchemical trait to add 2d4. So we're rolling all these dice, and not only that, but we get to add a total of plus, our range trait is actually plus 4, and our craft is plus 5. We're adding 9 to this check. Pretty amazing. Adding 9 to this roll, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 18, 19, 22, and a 2, and another 2. Wow, that's a really low roll. So good thing we had that plus 9. If it wasn't for the plus 9, we'd have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16, 17. We'd have failed it, but thanks to our buffs of plus 9, 17 and 9 is 26. So we were victorious, and we have defeated the Dusk Taker of the Pleasure Barge. Dun, dun, dun. Well, that was really a cool scenario. I loved how we found that Tarworks Master, and he came there to help us acquire all those other allies, and things just fell into place for Damiel. So much fun. The location is closed. Let's go ahead and check out Damiel, because now, check this out. He's got all these great cards. So we're going to do kind of like the abbreviated deck check for Damiel. We are just going to look for, well, let's do this first. So this is Damiel's deck. The first thing that Damiel has for a reward is a skill feat. Let's zoom in there. So Damiel has a skill feat. So what we're going to do is we're just going to max out his dexterity. That's the plan. So he's got a cool skill there. He's got range skill of plus 5 now. His craft skill is also plus 5. So that's his reward for the scenario. But what's really cool, let's go back to doing this abbreviated deck check here. So what's really cool now is he has all these cards that are level, so he's level 5 right now. So he can only trade cards to a trader that are level 4 or 5. So let's look at what he has here. This is his deck. So he's got the Blessed of Anubis, the Pyromaniac Mage. Okay, well that was it. Well, how about that? So just this scenario. He gained these 2 items, and that's it. So he has something to trade to a trader. Alright, let's go to the trader Falsine Deek. Falsine Deek, we're visiting you with Damiel. So let's go ahead and see what Falsine Deek is going to offer us. He hasn't been really offering us anything really good lately. But now we're looking at items of 4. We're going straight to the items. And looking at the items, let's go ahead and roll a d10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what Falsine Deek is offering us. Items of level 4 or 5. So Sandstorm Dust. Or he's offering us, wow, pure holy water. So unfortunately, well, this one has the alchemical trait. So Sandstorm Dust, shuffle this card into your location deck to evade your encounter. You may succeed at a craft 10 check to recharge this card instead of shuffling it into your location deck. That's pretty cool. It says evade our encounter. So I guess that we can even like ignore trigger effects. So it's pretty cool. It's level 4 item. We would have to go ahead and, well, we'll go ahead and we will trade. Do we want to keep this though? Discard this 2 dice for a charisma check. It says discard this card to add 2 dice when you check against a Bane that has the Mummy or Undead trait. Ignore the Bane's immunities. Wow, that's really powerful. So right now, I don't know. Let me read up on the rules about whether I don't have to do trigger effects with the Sandstorm Dust. Because right now I'm not sure whether or not to keep the Blessing of Anubis for Damiel or the Sandstorm Dust is the better choice, but you can let me know. But really exciting adventure. Thanks for watching. I'll let you know my decision at the start of the next adventure. And I will have another scenario up shortly. Alright, thank you.